Hello everyone and welcome to the My Greek Island podcast with your hosts George Tsounyas
and Maria Petrakou. Now today we're talking about something slightly different to what we have you used to, and that is we're going to present you a local hero and someone who will make their way to your heart through your stomach. So this person will send your palate on a journey through experiencing the amazing food which he makes with so much love.
Could be like a voyage of discovery, like I think, but literally yummy. I'm really looking forward to this episode. But we met Yianni in 2021 whilst on a My Greek Island journey in Karpathos, and we have since kept in touch. And we are so excited to have him on the podcast today to talk about all things food. And as he coins it, it's fusion, not confusion, when talking about his preferred style of cooking. And obviously, we could not give a mention that obviously it's Maria's favourite topic, food. Isn't that right?
Indeed, it is my favourite topic. But enough about my food topic, my favourite topic. Let's do some housekeeping. Before we jump into today's episode, if you're not following us on the gram, you know what to do. Press the pause button, head over to Instagram and give us a follow on the Instagram handle at My Greek Island.
And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also maybe post a little review. I think we have 30 reviews now across Apple Podcast and Spotify, so that's good. And it keeps us coming back with more content. So without further ado, let's get in to today's episode.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast, dedicated to take you, the wanderlust, on a journey through Greece.
There are 227 inhabited Greek islands. Which one will you visit next?
My Greek Island with your hosts George and Maria.
Now, today, as we said, we have a local hero who, although we met in Karpathos, he's actually currently on the iconic, one of the most famous probably, Greek islands of Santorini. His name is Ioannis Kourtoglou, although we will be referring to him as Yiannis throughout the episode. He has been a professional chef for over 10 years now, but he also has other strings to his bow.
He does indeed. And today he's here to talk to us about his story, his first cooking experience, how he links psychology to food, what his dreams are for the future, and where you can find him to try some of his creations. So enough from us. Let's just head over to Santorini and meet our guest and friend, Yianni.
Kalimera Yianni, how are you today?
Hello, guys. I'm fine. You? I'm so glad to see you again.
It's actually such a pleasure to have you here. Not in person, although we did meet in person recently, but definitely great to have you, even if it's just on a recording while we're sitting in London and you're sitting in Santorini. But you're going to tell us all about that.
But before we get into the main part of the podcast, why don't we start and explain to our listeners how we met and how our relationship randomly evolved. So Maria, I think this is over to you to start with.
I will. So I think we've mentioned on the episode on Karpathos that I spent a few days without you. So one of my main passions is clearly food. So hence I crossed the road, walked into a restaurant, and about 10 minutes later was served an amazing dish of ceviche by the hands of our guest. And I think everything after that is sort of a natural evolution of us going back to the restaurant to talk and eat more ceviche, and we ended up having some amazing chats, right, Yianni, and you bringing out some very interesting ice cream. And then post that, a trip of you in London where we met for coffee, and started as like a 30-minute coffee, but ended up as a 3-4 hour conversation, and us all becoming some great friends.
Yeah, that's right.
And other than being a chef, Yianni is also a mental health advisor. And one of the things we mentioned when we were in London, we ended up going for a quick coffee, which in true Greek style ended up going on for hours, where we also met Anastasia, who is actually in Karpathos this summer. So also a tattoo artist. So we actually were talking about, I wanted to do a tattoo from the Athens Marathon of an olive branch, and she was like, oh, I specialize in them and I do them. So if I do end up taking the plunge and wanting to get a tattoo, going to reach out to Anastasia when she's around, because I know she's very, very busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we should. That's definitely a future episode. We probably need to talk about the her tattoo studio, and how, you know, the tattoo industry has evolved over the years in Greece. So definitely one to dive into.
So I know when we first met properly in London and we had a conversation, you told us the story of the first time you actually cooked your first meal. So would you like to tell our listeners a bit more about that? And if you would say that sparked that first interest in cooking?
Okay, let's start. First time I was cooking. It was by need, because my brother was very hungry, and we was very young. I was at the age of 7, I think, something like that, 7, 8 years old, and I cooked for him pasta bolognese, because I saw my mother preparing that kind of pasta very often. So was nothing left in our house about food. So my mom take out of the fridge minced meat the night before. So I saw that minced meat and I say, okay, I will cook a pasta bolognese. So my first time was at the age of 8, and my first dish was pasta bolognese.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they teach that in schools for like 15-year-olds, so that's pretty amazing that you did
Yeah, at the
that.
age of 7.
Yeah. But you're now a chef, fully fledged chef, but before that you weren't always a chef. So would you give us a background to your journey from where you started to how you are a chef today? And obviously you're in Santorini this year.
Yeah. I was doing 2 jobs. First was as a psychic mental health counselor, and the other job was cooking. I'm cooking from 17 years old. In a time of my life, I was doing both of the jobs. So I mixed a bit that kind of job, the counselor job, because I want to train people. I want to give them education about how they treat each other inside the kitchen brigade, because in the kitchen you will see a lot of offensive kind of style. So I train them to be human beings, to be polite. So my counselor job helped me so much in the kitchen brigade, and how to organize the kitchen, how to, yeah.
It must be very mental when you're, I think the kitchen must be a very difficult place to work, and the ability to bring psychology into the equation is a very amazing attribute to know and to have, and to be able to teach it as well. And I mean, you told us that you sometimes do workshops as well to help the situation in the kitchen. So you seem to have married your two professions into one, and you seem to be doing that very successfully, because we've heard that your kitchen is one of the most calmest kitchens to work in and the most efficient kitchens to work in. So tell us about these workshops and how you bring this all together.
I were in the other side of the river, like all of the people inside the kitchen. I was too mad, too angry, and I saw that in the kitchen is too stressed job to do. So I said I will make my own school inside the kitchen, because I was like them. And then I realized that I can do something better. I want to change the rules. We can be polite. We can be polite, and we can be good each other. So I do some I do some workshop inside the kitchen brigade or in the waiters or stuff like that. So we can trust each other more. How we say, Maria, I want to help me, να ξεπεράσουμε τα προβλήματα.
To get over any problems that come to the surface.
Yeah, something like that. So sometimes I do small workshops that you can draw, or you can fix something with your hands, with plastiline or something like that. So our relationship gets toned, and we get know each other better. So in the service time, that everything is too stressed, you think about that workshop, and you know that the other people opposite, it's your colleague, you know.
Yeah,
it's your colleague. It's your colleague inside the work. So you must be polite, and you must be kind one each other.
Through the workshops, you're effectively building a bond and trust between all the people that are working together, and facilitating such good teamwork that people are now so connected. They understand that they're working with each other and not against each other. And I think that is such a fascinating thing to be able to do. And that it's amazing that you've been able to adopt that to a kitchen. And I think everyone will probably agree that we all need a bit more team building activity and connection with human beings in our lives. In every aspect of our life.
Yeah, and I think having respect. I used to work as a waiter, and I used to be scared to go into the kitchen sometimes, because it's such a heated, high pressure environment. So having a calm kitchen, good for everyone, isn't it? So amazing.
Yeah. Now I want to go back to the introduction, Yianni, for a second. And when I said we met in Karpathos and you made an amazing ceviche, but one thing that really impressed me, and definitely also impressed George when we came back a second time together, was the fact that you came out of the kitchen, you walked up to our table, and you walked us through what was on our plate. And it was a kind of storytelling of how things had come together, and how you had created what we were about to experience. And the specific dish that blew my mind was the ceviche. I've mentioned it multiple times. I've also mentioned it on the Karpathos episode. Although I am, apart from being a huge foodie, George asked me once, "What do you always look for on the menu?" And my answer was ceviche. So, and you are ranked in one of my top choices of ceviche that I've ever had, and you know that. I've told you it multiple times, but tell our listeners how you enjoy marrying or bringing foods and influences from other cuisines into your kitchen.
That kind of stuff starts from my own life. I like to marry the things from other cultures and other civilization, because I believe in human being. So I need to be a kind of fusion, because I think we have similar things some of the world cuisines have similar things, something like fish or seafood or vegetables. Maybe it's another kind, but the flavor is the same. So I married a couple of cultures to make something beautiful, something new, and something that fits in my, how we say, psychosynthesis.
It's the same word in English,
Yeah.
psychosynthesis.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, I travel a lot. I see a lot of new things, and then I come back to Greece, and I say to myself, okay, what's that? It's something similar to our world, to our country. And then I married some stuff, some broths or some fish or some vegetables. I like to change textures. Maybe I will see something from Peru or Mexico. I take it here and I change the texture. So yeah, I'm searching to find myself. You know, I'm 34 years old. I'm not a high rank full chef, executive or something like that. I'm a young chef. So now I'm trying to find who I am.
Amazing.
Yes, I think yes, I want the help from Maria. I said here, είμαι του λιμανιού και του σαλονιού. I can't explain you in English, but
So I
Maria and
think,
George.
I think
We
the
were
way, so
talking.
I was going to say that when you said you travel, and because I do follow your journey on Instagram, and every time you're somewhere and you're eating, I'm literally looking at the pictures saying, I want to eat that, I want to eat that, I want to eat that as well. But you don't just go to a high-end restaurant. You are also someone that would sit at the most, you would also be seen eating street food. So effectively, the tu saloniu que tu limaniu que tu saloniu means that you have a big range of what you are capable of doing. So it doesn't always have to be fine dining. It can be something very simple, something your grandmother made or someone, you know, on a street food vendor. But you can also be seated at a fine dining and have the full experience. And I'm very similar to that when it comes to my food and my travels. And I'm always so jealous when I see your pictures, and I'm always noting down the restaurants that you go to and adding them to my list, because I know that if you ate there, I definitely want to eat there.
And I think the overarching theme is, regardless of where you're going, is that you're looking for good quality food and something that maybe you can learn. And obviously you said you like to travel. Do you have a favorite cuisine that you take inspiration from?
I'm a well-cooked food lover. So I don't have something specific. I said to you before that now I'm trying to understand myself, you know. I don't like to be specific. I don't like to be like how we say tagmenos.
Yeah, you don't want to be like
I want to be open-minded, you know?
Open-minded, yeah.
I'm not the French cuisine guy. I'm not the Greek cuisine guy. I'm not the Japanese. I can merit a lot of things, but I'm thinking that I'm a fusion guy, you know?
Yeah.
Not confusion, but fusion.
That's a good, we should put that as the tagline. That's a good one.
That's a slogan for the episode.
Yeah. I'm trying to be fusion. I like to marry the things from another civilization and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where it can be, because we can't mix everything. If something allows to me, then I will do it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be like close, how we say?
Close-minded.
Yes, I don't want to be like that. So I travel a lot. I taste different things. I like fine dining and I like street food also. I can give like 500 euros per person for a meal, and I can give like 3.5 euros for a pita gyro in Monastiraki. So I'm trying to find myself, guys. So maybe next year.
I think it's a really exciting time for the Greek food scene at the moment, and you're one of the people that's trying to move the Greek gastronomy forward and modernize it, bring in fusions. And I would say we've had this discussion face to face, is that the food scene in Greece is undergoing somewhat of a revolution with their flavors and the fusions and textures. How do you see that?
How I see that. I love grandma's gemista,
Uh-huh.
but I don't think it's the only thing we can show or we can see when we come in Greece. We are not only pita gyros and gemista and moussaka. We love that kind of food. I love
I
that
love
kind of food.
moussaka.
Yeah, of course, I love it. But things changes a bit. If we see around us, a lot of things changes. So I believe that we can change a little bit about Greek gastronomy. The recipes of our yaya, it's very good, but we can still go on with that. We need to fix ourselves a bit. We need to reorganize some things because gastronomy in Greece now starts to, how we say, now starts to spring.
Yeah.
It's starting to blossom. It's starting to blossom like spring. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, it's starting blossom. Yeah. So I think we need to hold on a bit. We need to count the things. We don't want to see only the one thing of the life. We need to see all the life, not only one thing. So we need to change a bit something to make something good for our own. And we need to let some new age people, some younger people, show what they can do.
And experiment and show, and also bring their own identity, I think, to the cuisine and the gastronomic experience, because history, tradition, culture is definitely a very a significant part of Greece, but you can always take tradition and culture and a dish that has traditionally existed, and you can develop it, and you can add your own personal touch to it, and you can take ideas from that and you can experiment with them. So like you said, yemista, you can take something from the concepts of yemista and you can develop it. And that's what personally fascinates me with food, how you can take a tradition and you can develop it and add your own personal flavor to it.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting because it's embracing the old and respecting it, but bringing it forward into the modern day. So, yeah, we look forward to seeing how you develop, really, we can take inspiration.
Yes, 100%. You can do stuffed tomatoes or stuffed bell pepper, but you can stuff it with something else.
Exactly.
Yeah, my mum will love to hear this because she does that, and sometimes I complain. So maybe I need to move forward as well.
Yes, or you can change the texture. You can change the texture, and when this bite goes to your mouth, maybe you remember your yaya's stuffed tomatoes and bell peppers.
Yeah.
But in the texture, maybe it's different.
Yeah.
So you need to change something to be more interesting.
Yeah. I can't wait for Yianni to listen to this episode, George. Yianni is George's mum.
Yeah, she loves cooking. So
she's amazing in the kitchen. She loves cooking. She loves feeding us, and she also loves the podcast. And we talk about her a lot on the podcast. So I'm glad that she's got another shout out. So Yianni, when are we going to Greece for Yianni to cook
and
for us?
She's always private dining for me, which I think is probably going to be something you're going to ask about.
Exactly. Yes, that's going to be the next question. So when we spoke, Yianni, back in the day in Karpathos, you mentioned that private dining has started to become more and more popular in Greece. And I wanted you to talk a bit about that and tell us what that experience includes and how it has developed over the years.
Okay, I will speak about myself. I started that kind of thing. I started in 2020 when coronavirus was all over the world. So summer in Karpathos was very quiet. And I was need to cook something else, something fine, something unique. So I start to find new things and new ingredients and stuff like that, but it was too expensive. Uh, the restaurant was closed, and I say to myself, okay, let's make private dining for some people. It was a degustation menu. It was like tasting menu. It was six, 7, and 8 plates per person. Was served in villas, small villas. And I started doing that for 2, maybe 3 people, maybe 4, at least 4 people, because I can't serve more than 4 people tasting menu. So I started in 2020. I handpicked some ingredients. I do foraging, I do fishing, spear fishing. So I handpicked some ingredients, and then I went to my home. I cooked them, and then I went to villas. So yeah, I started 2020, 2021, and 22. For this year,
Was it popular? Was it quite popular?
in the beginning, no. In the beginning, no. Some of the people say, "What is that?" And I don't know what is private dining. I don't know. But then some of the people called me and said, "Okay, I want a private chef." And I said, "Okay, I will come to you." And then was amazed because I was working in front of them in their small kitchen of their small village.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I cook there in a small villa with like a small oven, like one gas fire, something like that. And I cook in front of them. So I serve the
that's so
plates
cool.
and I explain. Yes, I love that kind of gastronomy. I want to go out. I want to educate people because I see a lot of waiters to be elitists. You go to a fine dining restaurant and you see the nose is up to the god. It's like so much elitist. I don't like. I want to educate people because no one knows about the food. We are the cookers, they are the waiters, and you are the customers. You need to train you. You need to speak to you clearly with a good mood and explain to you what is this, what is that, in which preparation is first, what is amuse-bouche, what is or we need to speak a bit about that because no one's know what is a poché. Maybe 30% of the people know what is a poché, but some of them they don't know. So we need to educate, to be kind with the people that they coming in the restaurant, to be kind, to be smiley, to train them, to educate them about the food. What is the flowers? What is edible flowers? What is fermentation? We need to explain them, polite and kind.
Yeah, but also I find that allows you to connect to the food that you're about to eat. I personally find that when someone explains to me how much love has gone into this and how this has been created and what are the ingredients, I automatically appreciate what I'm about to eat so much more. And it allows you to taste things differently because you know what's in there. I find that is also part of the whole connection, the way that you spoke before about psychology and connecting people that are working together in the kitchen. Describing what someone's about to eat is also creating that connection with the food. But one last question on that: were you also pairing the food with wine, for example?
I'm not a sommelier. I'm not a sommelier. I can do some things. I'm not an expert in wine. I know a lot of things about wine, but I'm not sommelier. I can do some suggestions, but it will be a suggestion. You will try, and then it's not my job. I know it because I like going out to our colleague. I go a lot of. I go very often out for food to have a dinner or a meal or stuff like that. I like very much tasting menu and tasting pairing with wine. So yes, for me, wine and food, it's so close together.
It is, it is. I was just
Yeah.
wondering if when you would do the private dining experience, if people would also request to have a pairing or not, or they would just go for the food.
I don't do the pairing. I do the suggestion, because if they have shrimp, I said to them, okay, shrimp goes with that kind of
Yeah,
wine.
yeah, yeah.
If you want to buy it, buy that kind of wine. I'm not serving wine. I'm not buying wine.
Yeah,
But I
understood.
know from experience, because I go
Mm.
to a lot of, how we say salonia, how we say εκθέσεις,
Yeah,
κρασιού.
go to exhibition.
Exhibitions. Yeah, yeah.
Exhibitions,
Exhibitions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wine exhibitions, yeah. So I learn things about food and wine. I can make suggestions until that.
Yeah. So I know lots of people are going to be enjoying your creations this year. You're in Santorini. So
Yeah.
where can you tell us where you're based this summer, and how can our listeners find you if they actually want to try some of your food?
And now I'm based in Santorini, in Perivolos, and the hotel called Historia Hotel. It's a group of small villas. It belongs to Empiria Group, and Empiria Group belongs to Marriott.
Okay.
Mm.
So yeah,
Amazing.
Lots of tasty dishes coming out from you there then, I'm sure.
Amazing. And Yianni, goals and dreams for the future. So you're currently in Santorini, but tell us if you aspire to have your own place one day.
yeah, that's my dream. That's my dream. I travel a lot. I want to have a lot of knowledge. That's why I'm traveling a lot. So when that kind of knowledge get matured, then I will start something by my own, my own restaurant with a few seats, like 6 or 8 or 10 seats. It will be only tasting menu and only wine pairing. You can choose nothing. Just you came to us, you will come to us, you will have a seat, and then food and wine will start come to you. So for me, that is experience. I want to give you experience. I don't want you to have a choice, because if you choice, it's not me.
That's true.
So they're coming for a chef. They're coming for a chef's table. They're coming to experience your table, effectively.
Yes, experience my food and sommelier's wine, because we will how we say I need to find the word.
Πες το στα ελληνικά.
Cooperate.
Cooperate. Yeah.
Cooperate together. Then the sommelier try my food. I will try his wine. We will talk a bit. We will have lots of conversation. We will make a tasting menu, food and a wine pairing. So when you come, you just sit, and then you let us give you that kind of experience.
Amazing. I mean, I can't wait to go when it happens. I know Maria's already like, can I book? But we can't wait.
I like so much sustainability.
Yeah.
For racing. Sustainability for me, it's the alpha and the omega.
Yeah.
Yes, I want
Such
to use
amazing topic.
Yeah, because I want to use nose to tail. I want to use everything. I don't want to waste food, because some other people, they don't have even to eat,
Yeah. And before we close the episode, there's one thing, because I personally really, really interested about the evolution of the Greek fusion and the Greek culinary scene. We're going to be quite cheeky and ask you if you would come back for an episode dedicated to Greece's culinary evolution in season 5, where we're going to talk more in depth about the history of the food and where it's going. So hopefully you're going to be wanting to come onto the podcast for season 5 for an episode. No pressure. When it's quieter for you.
I will be for sure, and I will be more prepared, because now I don't even prepare nothing to speak to you guys, because I'm full stressed of job. I'm working like 12 hours per day. I went out of the kitchen before 5 minutes before we talk.
Well, we appreciate all your time. So
Yes, next time we will speak about gastronomy and anagέννηση, you can say.
Renaissance, the Renaissance. Yeah.
Yes.
Renaissance, yes. When the other have Renaissance, we have Turkish Ottoman Empire. So Greek goes back 400 years. So this is the reason now Greece goes up with a lot of Michelin star restaurants and very good chefs and young chefs.
Amazing.
Yeah, we need to dig into that more, Yianni. And definitely, I mean, me and George sort of have a bit of insider info because we've already had this discussion with you in person.
Yes.
But it's definitely something that we do want to bring to the podcast. But as a first flavor for our listeners, we wanted them to get to know you a bit more. And I don't think we needed that much preparation for this episode because it was a chat between friends about who you are. And we fully appreciate the fact that you were able to steal some time from your very busy kitchen to be here today and chat with us. But I would invite our listeners, because Yianni is going to be back, and hopefully Anastasia will be here sometime soon as well to talk about the tattoo shop that she has. But I would like to invite all of our listeners to send in those foodie questions so that we can actually send them across to Yianni when we get into season 5 and actually really dig deep into the Greek gastronomy, which is such a scene that needs a dedicated discussion about.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as we're going to probably start to wrap it up there, but as we always do on every episode, we have a Greek phrase. We might have time for 1 or 2, maybe 3, Greek phrase of the episode for our listeners to learn a bit of Greek. Now, the first one that we're going to have is to say, I like the Greek cuisine / gastronomy, which in Greek would be μου αρέσει η ελληνική γαστρονομία. So, μου αρέσει η ελληνική γαστρονομία. Maria, do you want to have a go at saying it?
Sure. It's μου αρέσει η ελληνική γαστρονομία.
Perfect. And are we going to have one more?
Yeah, of course. Μου αρέσει η ελληνική γαστρονομία.
Perfect.
Amazing. So that's three different voices and pronunciations for you all to learn from. Should we go with another phrase?
Yeah, I think we've got time for one more.
Okay, so I'm going to throw one in.
Yeah.
Which we're going to surprise you, Yianni. It's Yianni puts a lot of love in his food. If you ever eat from his creations, you will know exactly what we mean. And there is a phrase in Greek which is the chef of my heart. So we're going to teach that to you. So if you ever meet him, you can walk up to him and you can say, "Είσαι ο chef της καρδιάς μας."
Ο chef της καρδιάς μας.
Yeah. So dedicated to you, Yianni, ο chef της καρδιάς μας. May you always be putting so much love into the food that you make so that you will be keeping more people's tummies as happy as you kept ours.
Yes. And thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. I mean, it's been a pleasure having you and welcoming you and looking forward to seeing you in the season 5 when we have you on again, and wishing you all the best for the summer because it's very, very busy.
It's very busy, yeah. Thank you so much, guys. And I'm sorry for my vocabulary in English.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. I'm sure that our listeners will agree that your vocabulary was perfect.
Yeah, it's a bit a kind of Greeklish. But thank you so much for everything. The most emotional sentence for me was that I am the chef of your heart and I put love inside my food because you recognize what I do. I do love, I put love in every kind of dish, in a ceviche, in a gemista, in a whatever. I think that love and food is the same. If you are not a lover guy, you can cook.
Yeah, true.
Amazing.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. So, my Greek Islanders, if any of you are heading to Santorini this year, go and find Yianni.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I think it's a wrap. Is it a wrap, George?
Yeah, as always, all the information is going to be available in the show notes. All that's left for us to say is thank you very much, Yianni. Have a good cooking season. And we'll see our listeners in the next episode.
I will close the episode. I want to close the episode with one phrase, please.
Go for it.
Of course.
The phrase is, all we need is love, guys.
Yeah, that's a good one. You had some good line. All we need is love and not confusion, but fusion. Perfect.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, my Greek
nice
Islanders.
day.
Bye.
You too,
Bye.
Yianni. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, my Greek Islanders, this comes to the end of another episode of this podcast.
Now you know the drill. If you like this episode, share it to share the love with the My Greek Island community, where everyone is welcome. And
don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and maybe give us a little rating from wherever you're listening to us from, so you are notified every time a new episode drops. And if you have any suggestions or requests, get in touch.
And for those of you visiting Greece, don't forget to tag My Greek Island on Instagram for a future feature. Until then, see you later, or as they say in Greek,
Ta leme.